One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. Then let me be free.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart, steel, and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels, ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals report he pays his way. More legend in the making, day by day.
If there's a will, there's a way, man. It's Whip 'em Out Wednesday. Hopefully everyone's enjoying themselves. I definitely know the hell that we are, man. Much love, honor, respect, everybody. Shit. Well, we have an interesting morning as always. It seems like this is what we do nonstop. I mean, Monday through Friday, this is what we do. So, nonetheless, Trump welcomes Nicki Minaj today at the White House. And I'm not sure if we're actually going to see any of that today on my stream. You guys are going to see it later. And another thing that's happening right now as we speak, Rubio is testifying on Maduro capture. And I actually have his opening statements for you guys and all that. But as you guys know, these things go on for like a day, sometimes even a couple days. I really don't know how long it's going to last. But nonetheless, I do have that footage for you. And then we have Minneapolis latest and more. So the way I actually have this is I have 9 different stories that we're going to be breaking down this morning. A couple of them are quick. A couple of them are medium size. Nonetheless, we condense everything down to an hour. But what we're looking at is Border Patrol shooting in Arizona near border. 1 critically injured, and this was 19 hours ago. 1 person is in critical condition after a shooting involved Border Patrol agents in southern Arizona near the U.S.-Mexico border, also called the southern border. CPB, which is Border Patrol, has been involved in high-profile news since the shooting of Alex Preddy in Minneapolis over the weekend. All right, and then after that, we have Trump speaks to reporters ahead of his Iowa speech. He did his speech over there yesterday in Iowa. And basically what he's doing in Iowa is campaigning for the midterms, essentially. And so that was his first campaign of the midterms. But we're not going to be playing that campaign event that happened yesterday. No need. It's over an hour. I don't need to do that. And then we have, I don't know how you say her name, but Ilhan Omar rushed and sprayed, and we do have that footage for you guys. I'm sure that you guys have saw that on social media within the last, 12, 15, 16 hours. I'm sure that you guys have seen a little bit about that. And to be honest, I really think it was a setup. I think it's all political theater, and but it's nothing new, right? Alex Preddy shooting, 2 federal officers fired shots in Minneapolis, DHS report says. So it says 2 federal officers fired shots during the encounter that killed Alex Preddy in Minneapolis, according to a Customs and Border Protection report sent to Congress. The report obtained by the Associated Press says officers tried to take Preddy into custody and he resisted, leading to a struggle. And so a Border Patrol officer and CBP officer each fired Glock pistols, the notice said. Very interesting. And then we have another thing that is a breaking news story this morning. Trump sends massive fleet of warships to Iran, quote, great power. So let's see what it says here. It says President Trump says a massive fleet of warships are arriving in Iran. And a post via Truth Social, and President said a massive armada is heading to Iran, which I'm guessing Amanda is maybe a carrier of some sort. I actually don't know. It's moving quickly and with power, enthusiasm, and purpose. It is a larger fleet headed by the great aircraft carrier Abraham Lincoln that was sent to Venezuela. Very, very interesting. And then we have Minnesota judge threatens contempt, orders ICE chief to appear in court, and that just happened an hour ago. That's actually a big deal that's happening there. And then Iran update: Trump sends U.S. armada. I'm thinking I'm saying that right, armada, I think, to Iran, and that's just an hour ago. And then the First Lady, just 49 minutes ago, spoke at the New York Stock Exchange. And so it's really quick. It's only 4 minutes. So we're going to play it later. And then we have the very first opening statement, essentially, from Marco Rubio. It says, Marco Rubio interrupted by protester during opening remarks on Venezuela. So I have that for you guys here. But before we get all into it, make sure you guys come in and hit that like button. It helps out the show immensely, and it's free to do so. If you guys are brand new to the channel, hit that subscribe button because it's also free. And this is what we do Monday through Friday and then Saturday morning for members only, man. It's a great time. Now, let's go ahead and get into the money part, though. Please consider becoming a member starting only at $3.99 a month. Making sure we're not breaking the bank out there with anybody, but check it out. This is what allows us to keep these lights on as well as be on these airwaves. So I very much appreciate you guys becoming members and staying members. A little side note here, follow my Instagram at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my life, but as well as the show, Millennial Food Time, breaking news, as well as the campaign trail, man. Make sure you guys follow along on that. It's a great way to get a hold of me one-on-one. And we also have a Discord server for all of you legends. We have the majority of you guys involved in that, but we definitely want to get you guys, 100% of you guys in there. So make sure you guys get a link from one of the moderators if you're here in the live chat. If you're watching this on the playback, go down to the video description down below, and it has all the links necessary for all of that stuff. And last but not least, all super chats, super stickers, gifted memberships, and membership signups are, of course, all going to be presented live and shouted out onto the show. But if you guys would like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut that they take from your hard-earned cash, well, then we have these platforms right here that you guys can donate to. And, of course, I'll read them out loud, and I get 100% of the proceeds, man. Feels ultra good to be a G. All right, so I've got my email up, so if anything comes through, I will definitely read it right away. So, all right. Great to see everyone in the chat, man. We got AU in the building as well as Steve Easy, KP, Dark Soul. Great to see you guys, man. Appreciate you guys. We got Provo. Good morning, kind sir. Great to see you. We got Easy Frank as well. Good morning. We got Ratchet in the building as well. Good morning to you. We got Rob's neighbor, which is Carrie. Good morning to you. We got TVT as well. Good morning. Great to see you guys. We got Virginia Chaos as well. We got Naomi and Rabbit of Chaos. Good morning to you, ladies. We got Alfred Patterson. Good morning to you as well. We got Gary, my man. Shout out to my man. It's a Whip 'em Out Wednesday. That's right. Wow. Whip 'em Out Wednesday. We got Steve Posey as well. Good morning, kind sir. We got Warlener. Good morning to you. We are scrolling down, making sure we're catching up. We got Quick Shoe in the building as well. Good morning. We got Matt Kennedy, good morning, and the Coffee Crew Raid. That's right. My man, I very much appreciate you and the peeps coming by and hanging out with us. Steve Posey, he's giving out a gifted membership right off the top, man. I very much appreciate that. Not only helps me, but it helps someone in the Insane Wheels family, bro. So thank you for that. Let's see here. We got Adventures of Keyfob, my man, as well. Good morning, good morning. We got The Inn, or Thine, or whatever your name is, but very much appreciate you hanging out. We got Dylan Patterson as well. Good morning. We got Zip Tie as well as Motobomb. Good morning, you guys. All right, we got to get right into this. There's so much shit going on. We got to get right into it. We got Alwine. Good morning to you. Great to see you guys. All right, we're going to get right into this shit.
I do want to put this up on your screen. This just came in.
This is the very first thing we're going to be starting on. I already listed off everything, but little heads up, reminder, Border Patrol shooting in Arizona near border, one critically injured.
And as breaking news, as we were having that conversation about some of the ICE operations that are happening in Minnesota,
Armada.
the Associated Press putting
Armada.
this down a few moments ago. This is there saying that a person is now in critical condition after a shooting involved Border Patrol near the U.S.-Mexico border, according to those Arizona officials. Thank you so much to my producers for bringing me the very latest. I have something I want to read to you here from the Associated Press.
What's up, Brother Blair? Good morning.
Saying there from their article that one person was shot and is in critical condition today in a shooting involving the Border Patrol near the U.S.-Mexico border. The Pima County Sheriff's Department said that it was working with the FBI and U.S. Customs and Border Protection in response to the shooting there in the Arivaca community there in Arizona. It's a community about 10 miles there from the border. U.S. Customs and Border Patrol and the FBI did not immediately respond to emails and telephone calls seeking any additional information, but the Santa Rita Fire District
What's up, Tiffany? Good morning.
Said that it responded to that shooting and the person who was wounded was in custody, saying that the patient care was transferred to a local medical helicopter for rapid transport to a regional trauma center. That's according to the fire district. And so once again, just coming down a few moments ago, Arizona Border Patrol is now reporting a shooting. That person is currently in critical condition. They've been critically injured, according to the Associated Press. Again, we'll keep you updated with the very latest. This just came down a few moments ago. But as we learn more information, we'll bring it to you here on air.
And of course, that's what we're going to do. We follow these fucking stories. That's what we do. We're going to move on into the next one, though. Trump speaks to reporters ahead of Iowa's speech. And yes, he did have a campaign essentially for the midterms yesterday. And but he did speak to reporters ahead of the Iowa speech. So let's go ahead and see what he said here.
And it's going very well. But remember this, even Minnesota, the crime is down. And you know why it's down? Because of what we did. We took out thousands of criminals, career criminals.
They need to turn that background music off, bro. Come on.
Bad criminals. People that came in from Venezuela. By the way, how did we do in Venezuela? Not bad, right? The people that came in Venezuela, look at the people that came in from...
What's up, Sterling? Good morning to you, kind sir. Good morning, good morning.
Countries all over the world. They came from the Congo. They came from all over South America, all over Latin America, all over Africa. They came from everywhere. And they came out of prisons in many cases. They came out of mental institutions in many cases. And we're getting them out, and we got a lot of them out. But we have now the safest country we've ever had. Washington, D.C. went from being a crime-ridden place to a place that has virtually no crime in a period of a couple of months. So it's, we're very proud of what we've been able to do. And this is a state that's been with me all 3 times, right?
At the very beginning.
What's up, Mile High? Good morning. And if they continue to play this music, we're definitely going to have to not... I mean, let's just see if I go to 4 minutes. We're 1 minute in. Let's go to 4 minutes and see if there's still music.
Countries. I said, how much? They said, well...
Yeah, they actually turned it off.
...into our country.
They still are playing it at 2 minutes.
We have $18 trillion coming in, building plants, building auto factories, building AI factories. Like no other country in the world has done what we've done in the last...
I really don't know the answer to that, TVT. I really don't know.
Yeah. And I think it's the most successful first-term president. There's never been a year like this in the history of the country.
Good morning. What up, No Grow? Great to see you.
And he's been with me from the beginning, this guy. Make sure, take good care of him. He's been with me. So, I'm going around, and I'm going around because hopefully we win the midterms. And it's very scary because, like, it's too...
We got Sterling Wheel coming in with the $2 saying, watch Trump get sued for that song. Shit. Well, I very much appreciate you making it rain with the $2. Shit adds up very quick. Thank you, kind
out
sir.
of 50 years or something like that.
That's right.
For some reason, when a president wins, Republican or Democrat, even if they're a good president, and hopefully I'm a great president, based on the first year I'm a great president. And we had a great first term, too. People don't know, we rebuilt our military. We had phenomenal financial numbers. But I think this term's blowing away really every term. But traditionally, when a president gets elected, out of, I think, 50 years, they've had 2. One, I don't understand it.
You're gonna be
We've
next.
had 2, so we have to, and one was by unusual circumstance. So there's something psychological. If you win the president, whether you're Republican or Democrat, with that being said, the polls look very good. Everything looks very good. And you have great congressmen here, congressmen and women here, and we love Iowa. We love Iowa. And I think didn't I just give the farmers $12 billion, right?
$66 billion in total.
Well, I gave total 66.
right.
But just recently, we gave the farmers
Right.
$12 billion because they were treated unfairly by foreign countries. I said, how much? They said $12 billion. I said, they got it. You know where I got it? Tariffs. I got it from the tariffs. Without the tariffs. And again, you know, most of these, we right now have more factories and plants being built in our country than we've ever had before. That came in because they're coming because they don't want to pay the tariffs. So I said, if you build here, you don't have to pay tariffs. So it's great.
Mr. President, you talked a lot about... Mr. President, with the current value of the dollar, do you think it's declined too much?
No, I think it's great. I mean, the value of the dollar, look at the business we're doing. No, dollar's doing great. You know, it's very interesting. If you look at China and Japan, I used to fight like hell with them because they always wanted to devalue their yen. You know that? The yen and the yuan. And they'd always want to devalue it. They devalue. And I said, not fair that you devalue because it's hard to compete when they devalue. But they always fought, no, our dollar's very good.
Mr. President, some of your own administration officials have labeled Alex
By the way, this is ABC fake news, this one. She hasn't asked me.
Damn.
She hasn't asked me a good question in years.
Damn, bro. Shit, Trump coming out hot. And he was right. He's the reporter's now asking about Preddy.
I think a nice woman, but I don't really like her too much. Go ahead. What'd you say? I'd say ABC's about as bad as they get.
Mr. President, would you like to see the dollar's value decline more? Would that be helpful?
No, I'd want it to be just seek its own level, which is the fair thing to do. You could have it. I could have it go up or go down like a yo-yo. I'll give you an example. Unemployment. I could create the greatest unemployment numbers or employment numbers ever. All I have to do is hire 3 million people and put them into the federal government, and you have 10 people.
What's up, FAFO? Great to see you in the chat, bro.
You know, for one job, right?
That's right.
And what we've done is we've cut the federal employees and they've gone to the private sector. But if I wanted, I could hire 1 million people tomorrow, put them in the federal government, and she'd be writing a story. Unbelievable employment. Unbelievable employment. But we have great unemployment numbers.
Yeah.
I think they're great. Is there one number that's bad? Can you tell? Is there one number that's bad? There's not one.
Do you agree with the assessment from some of your own officials that Alex Preddy is a domestic terrorist or an assassin?
Well, I haven't heard that, but certainly he shouldn't have been carrying a gun. But hey, look, bottom line, everybody in this room, we view that as a very unfortunate incident, okay? Everyone, unless you're a stupid person. Very, very unfortunate incident. I don't like that he had a gun. I don't like that he had 2 fully loaded magazines. That's a lot of bad stuff. And despite that, I say that's a very unfortunate incident.
You said that you are the de facto president of Venezuela. I don't know, maybe you were joking when you said that. Is the U.S. a de facto member of OPEC right now?
Well, I'll tell you what, we are a very strong presence in Venezuela. We're going to get a lot of money for Venezuela. Venezuela has the largest
What's up, Extra Surprise? Good morning.
oil reserves in the world, with the exception, I think, of our country.
Yep.
And it's bigger than Saudi Arabia. And we had a very strong moment with Venezuela a couple of weeks ago. And we are working beautifully with Venezuela. I will tell you, they're going to do better now than they ever did, than they've done ever at any point. And we're going to be making a lot of money for them and a lot of money for our country. We have a very good relationship with the leaders of Venezuela, and we're going to keep it that way.
What are your plans, Mr. President? What are your plans for Cuba, Mr. President?
Well, we're going to see what happens with Cuba. I don't know. Anybody interested in Cuba in this room? Not too many people. This is not a Cuba room, but that's all.
Damn. Shit.
Oh, shit! There are plenty of them around, especially in Miami. And Cuba will be failing pretty soon. Cuba is really a nation that's very close to failing.
Yeah, it's a terrible take, by the way, Steve Easy.
You know, they got their money from Venezuela. They got the oil from Venezuela. They're not getting that anymore.
You were talking about the polls earlier. Clearly, your base
Look it up with Pacho.
They're very
Stronger than...
My bad coming in also with the 10-month membership saying, yo, shout out to my man. 10 freaking awesome months. Very much appreciate that, kind sir.
Oh, by the way, our base...
Welcome in.
Our base is with us. I think they're the best poll numbers, the real poll numbers. I think we have the best poll numbers we've ever had. Think of it, if I were to run again, would anybody be happy? You know, so we have the best poll numbers we've ever had. Thank you all very much. I appreciate it.
When he says thank you very much, that's it. He is done. Now we're going to move on into Ilhan Omar rushed and sprayed. Now they do give a graphic warning on this, even though she just gets sprayed with pepper spray, whatever. But honestly, I don't even think it was real pepper spray. I think this whole thing was completely set up. But maybe not, but you know, someone that has watched a lot of this kind of shit play out. I've watched a lot of political theater and fake protesters that come in and cause ruckus and make one side look bad on purpose. That's totally what it's designed to do. But let's go ahead and see what's happening here.
And DHS Secretary Kristi Noem must resign or face impeachment.
Here, let me go ahead and now bring it back to normal speed right before they pan it over to her, because she's kind of getting sprayed right here. Oh, they already tackled him. So on this camera view, you don't see it, but this guy that's recording over here and these cameras, they all caught it, and it right away went on social media.
Asshole. I don't know.
What'd they spray? I don't know.
Oh my God, he sprayed something.
Oh my God.
I need a napkin to know nothing.
What's up, babe? Great to see you in the chat, bro. Good morning.
No, we will continue.
No.
No, now we will continue.
No, we will continue. These fucking assholes are not going to get away with it.
You need to go get checked.
These fucking assholes are not going to get away with it. This is such political theater, bro.
No, we will continue. These fucking assholes are not going to get away with it.
You need to go get checked. That's whatever it is smells so bad. She needs to go get checked. I don't know what that was.
That's what they want. Please don't let them know.
It's not about him, Ilhan. It's not about him. It's about your safety. No, he sprayed something on you. You need
What's
to
up,
go
SNS?
get Yeah, and it smells terrible.
Dude, Sterling, it's 100% fucking... I'm being honest. The shit is fucking absolutely political theater. Now, the guy that sprayed her, ironically, looks... I mean, there's a look to liberals. I'm sorry. That's just the honest truth. There is kind of a look. Yes, I am stereotyping, but the guy is like... not some dude like me and our boys here. You know what I mean? Like, this guy is definitely odd. Anyways, just something I recognized. But they on this camera view, they don't show her getting the actual treatment. And that guy that did it on this camera view. But I did back it up for you guys. Here we go. We'll play it one more time.
Resign or face impeachment. I don't know.
Oh my God, he sprayed something on her.
I need a napkin to know nothing. No, we will continue.
No.
No, we will continue.
No, we will continue. These fucking assholes are not going to get away with it.
You need to go get checked. No, you don't know what you're That's whatever.
Yeah, they used a white liberal.
Smells so bad. She needs to go get checked. I don't know what that was.
That's what they want. Please don't let them know.
It's not about him, Ilhan. It's not about him. It's about your safety. No, he sprayed something on you.
There totally is. Bill Castle, what's up? Good morning. So that's all that you guys are going to see there on at least this video, because that was all the action right there. And unfortunately, they didn't even fucking catch it on that camera view. But I actually saw it be put out on social media yesterday, and I did see that whole context. Nonetheless, we're going to move on into Alex Preddy. So 2 federal officers fired shots in Minneapolis, DHS report says. And this is straight from the Associated Press, essentially. They got it from DHS.
We're back here for you on live now from Fox. I'm your host, Mike Page. Thanks again for joining us. Want to continue to...
Oh, wait. Before we do it, we got to get the money part over, bro.
All right, just get the money part done.
Give me money. Money me. Money now. Me a money needing a lot now.
Perfect.
Denied.
It's true, though. Anyways, we got Jimmy Mack coming in with the $2 saying sprayed Somali with fraud juice. Nice. Well, I very much appreciate the $2, my man. Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much.
The very latest in Minneapolis as tensions continue to be high. Fox News' Garrett Tenney with a breakdown.
I'm going to step down.
No. President Trump standing firm, voicing support for Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem amid intense backlash for the shooting death of 37-year-old Alex Preddy by Border Patrol officers. It's the second deadly shooting by federal agents in Minnesota this month.
I think she's doing a very good job. The border is totally secure.
That backing comes as House and Senate Democrats call for Noem to resign or step down, accusing her of destroying public confidence in DHS. Some even threatening impeachment proceedings over Noem almost immediately calling Preddy a domestic terrorist following the shooting.
You believe that Alex Preddy's death was justified?
Well, you know, we're doing a big investigation. I want to see the
Sick bastard, my man. Good morning.
investigation. I'm going to be watching over it. I want a very honorable and honest investigation.
Protests in Minnesota continue, with more than 100 demonstrators gathering outside the governor's office today to demand the arrest of federal officers involved in Preddy and Renee Good's deaths. Amid the ongoing pressure, the White House announced a shakeup in leadership for Operation Metro Surge. Border Patrol Commander-at-Large Greg Bavino leaving Minneapolis, with Border Czar Tom Homan taking his place.
He's professional, and I think he will do a dramatically better job of leading ICE to the right kind of behavior than the people did at Homeland Security.
Minnesota's governor and Minneapolis' mayor met with Homan today and both described the talks as productive, with Walz saying he stressed the importance of an impartial investigation into the Minneapolis shootings. In Minneapolis, I'm Garrett Tenney, Fox News.
Garrett, we always appreciate those updates, and we do have some new information tonight in the investigation for the situation that unfolded out in Minneapolis. We are learning tonight that 2 federal officers fired shots during the encounter that killed ICU nurse Alex Preddy in Minneapolis. A Customs and Border Protection official told Congress in a notice sent today. Officers tried to take Preddy into custody, and he resisted, leading to a struggle. According to a notification to Congress obtained by the Associated Press, during the struggle, a Border Patrol agent yelled, "He's got a gun," multiple times, the official said. A Border Patrol...
Yes, by the way, we have 415 people in here. Make sure you guys double tap the screen if you're on the vertical side and hit that like button if you're on the horizontal. I very much appreciate it. You don't have to like all the craziness that's happening around the country, but you guys can like it for me and what we do here. So thank you.
Officer and a CBP officer each fired Glock pistols, the notice said. Investigators from CBP's Office of Professional Responsibility conducted the analysis based on a review of body-worn camera footage and agency documentation, the notice said. The law requires the agency to inform relevant congressional committees about deaths in CBP custody within 72 hours. And that reaction is continuing tonight. You can see the Associated Press continuing to really document this big news that was made public now to congressional members on the Hill. So, of course, we will hear much more as this investigation does continue, but I wanted to bring this to your attention. We'll continue to follow it every step of the way for you on Live Now from Fox.
Well, shit. Of course, as you guys know, we're going to follow all these stories as they come out. Nonetheless, Trump sends massive fleet of warships to Iran, great power, quote unquote. Let's go ahead and bring this up, and we'll go ahead and discuss this. But quickly, we do have to embrace our fuck-ups.
Don't beat yourself up over past mistakes. You are going to fuck up again in the future, quite possibly in a most spectacular fashion. Why worry about yesterday's fuck-ups when you have tomorrow's fuck-ups to look forward to? You are a fuck-up, and fucking up is part of your growth process. Embrace the process.
Indeed, embrace the process. Here we go.
We have some breaking news to get to and more developments coming out of Iran on this Wednesday morning. Taking a look here at a social media post that I want to bring up, posted by President Donald Trump. And this is on an armada that is being sent there. So this was via Truth Social, the president saying this, quote, "A massive armada is heading to Iran. It is moving quickly with great power, enthusiasm, and purpose. It is a larger fleet headed by the great aircraft carrier Abraham Lincoln than that sent to Venezuela. Like with Venezuela, it is ready, willing, and able to rapidly fulfill its mission with speed and violence if necessary. Hopefully, Iran will quickly come to the table and negotiate a fair and equitable deal. No nuclear weapons, one that is good for all parties. Time is running out. It is truly of the essence. As I told Iran once before, make a deal. They didn't, and there was Operation Midnight Hammer, a major destruction of Iran. The next attack will be far worse. Don't make that happen again. Thank you for your attention to this matter." Bringing us out to this live image that we have of the White House over in Washington, D.C. And I just want to recap some of the latest reporting courtesy of the Associated Press. So as we did break the fact that the president has announced that a massive armada is heading to Iran via his social media platform, Truth Social, the AP most recently also saying this, that President Trump warned also other countries there in that area, including Iraq, this happening on Tuesday, that the U.S.
Yeah, Casey, that's the one that's leading the charge, essentially. Yes.
The U.S. would no longer support the country if its former prime minister returns to power. Concerning Iraq, Trump made the threat days after the dominant political bloc known as the Coordination Framework, which is a collection of parties, announced it was backing the nomination of the former prime minister, who the U.S. administration views as too close to Iran. Now, a lot of headlines were coming out of the Middle East this week. As you know, also, the final remains of a hostage that was still being held by Hamas were returned as well to Israel. We're following all of these developments very closely, but these protests in Iran do continue as well. The AP saying this, that Iranian officials reached out to the wider Middle East on Wednesday, so today, over the threat of a possible U.S. military strike on the country. It comes a month since the start of protests in Iran that soon spread nationwide and sparked a bloody crackdown. Two nations, Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, have signaled they will not allow their airspace to be used for any attack, but America has moved the USS Abraham Lincoln and several guided missile destroyers into the region, which can be used to launch attacks from the sea. And that goes back to the post that we showcased from President Trump. Now, it remains unclear what President Trump will decide about using force, though he laid down two red lines: the killing of peaceful demonstrators and the possible mass execution of detainees. The protesters saw more than 6,000 people killed as Iran launched a bloody crackdown on those demonstrations, with many others feared dead. That's according to what activists had to say on Wednesday. Now, I'm monitoring the situation very closely. Also, Iran's state-run media, which now only refers to protesters as terrorists.
Damn. So they are... The Iranian government is labeling the protesters as terrorists. Interesting.
Remains the sole source of news for many as Tehran cut off access to the global internet some 3 weeks ago. But Iranians have become angry and anxious in the weeks since, seeing footage of protesters shot and killed while worrying about what may happen next as the country's economy sinks further. Just want to bring up here one more time that social media post via Truth Social by President Trump. A massive armada is heading to Iran. It is moving quickly with great power, enthusiasm, and purpose. He finishes off by saying that time is running out and it is truly of the essence. Saying,
"What's up, Prez? Good morning."
Quote, "As I told Iran once before, make a deal. They didn't, and there was Operation Midnight Hammer, a major destruction of Iran. The next attack will be far worse. Don't make that happen again."
Shit. All right, we're moving on. Minnesota judge threatens contempt and orders ICE chief to appear in court. All right, let's go ahead and bring this up and we'll discuss it. We're flying through these, man.
Right there on the right-hand side of your screen, taking a live look over in Minneapolis, Minnesota. That is where that memorial there, a makeshift memorial, is set up for Alex Preddy following his shooting death just days ago. Right now, I do want to get to the latest here coming in out of Minneapolis. Take a look at your screen right here as a man has been arrested after spraying an unknown substance on Democratic Congresswoman Ilhan Omar at a town hall last night in Minneapolis. The audience
That's
cheered.
the worst footage, by the way. And that's, we didn't see this part, though, but they didn't actually capture the footage on Fox's end. But it was all over social media. But that's the guy right there that sprayed her.
As the man was pinned down, his arms tied behind his back. Watch as it all played out.
ICE cannot be reformed. It cannot be rehabilitated. We must abolish ICE for good.
Here it comes.
And DHS Secretary Kristi Noem must resign or face impeachment.
Oh, here's the other side. Finally. Oh,
I don't know.
Oh my God.
That was not as good either.
Minnesotans trying to make a hole. Get us guys, take a hole.
What the fuck? That guy's a hired gun, man. I'm telling you. It's all political bullshit. Political theater. Staged.
All right, that's some video right there where you're watching it all play out. Now, Minneapolis police have identified the man in that video there who has been charged as Anthony Kazmerzak. The 55-year-old, investigators say, was booked into the county jail on a charge of third-degree assault, and that is his booking photo released by authorities. As of now, the substance sprayed on the Congresswoman has not been positively identified, but investigators were there on the scene working to figure all of that out. And of course, President Trump says a, quote, big investigation is underway into this weekend's shooting death of protester and ICU nurse Alex Preddy. This, of course, happening by Border Patrol. And as we mentioned, there is that makeshift memorial that's been set up. This marked the second fatal shooting this month of a protester in Minneapolis. The first, of course, Renee Good, back on the 7th, shot and killed by an ICE officer. President Trump addressing the shooting death here during a Q&A in Iowa.
Do you agree with the assessment from some of your own officials that Alex Preddy is a domestic terrorist or an assassin?
Well, I haven't heard that, but certainly he shouldn't have been carrying a gun. But hey, look, bottom line, everybody in this room, we view that as a very unfortunate incident, okay? Right. Everyone, unless you're a stupid person. Very, very unfortunate incident. I don't like that he had a gun. I don't like that he had 2 fully loaded magazines. That's a lot of bad stuff. And despite that, I say that's a very unfortunate.
That's an L fucking take by Trump.
Now, at the same time, the acting director of ICE, Todd Lyons, has been ordered to appear in court in person on Friday. Chief Judge Patrick J. Schlitz, the chief federal judge in Minnesota, says the Trump administration has failed to comply with orders to hold hearings for detained immigrants. He's ordered Lyons to appear before...
Yes, real quick, we got 682 people in here. Make sure you guys double tap the screen as well as hit that like button on the horizontal side. You guys don't have to like all the craziness that's happening, but you guys can like it for me and what we do here. So thank you for that.
On Friday to explain why he should not be held in contempt. Gerard Felitti is senior counsel at the Lawfare Project, joining us now live to discuss all of this. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us today.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Of course. And first off, I do want to ask you kind of overall, a federal judge there ordering the head of a federal agency to appear in court. How does all of that work? What is the authority to do that in the first place?
It's the court's inherent authority under the Judiciary Act to hold hearings and issue contempt proceedings for cases that it's hearing. So in this case, the director of ICE is a party to this case that was filed in federal court by the state of Minnesota. So the court has power to compel ICE to obey its orders. And here the judge appeared to be unsatisfied with what ICE has been representing as reasons for delays in having bond hearings for some of the people who have been detained. So the chief judge is ordering the director of ICE to appear in court to personally explain why the department's not complying with court orders.
And as we kind of take a look at all of this and it continues to play out here, I wanted to ask you the contempt of court situation. Explain to me how that works.
Well, this is an issue of someone not following judicial orders. And normally you have an opportunity to submit papers to the court explaining why there's a delay, why you couldn't comply sooner, and what steps you're doing to comply with the orders. And here, where the judge is not satisfied with a written explanation and there's still delay in holding those bond hearings, you can start a contempt proceeding and order someone to explain verbally and then issue a contempt order if the court is not satisfied that what it asked to be done is being done. And contempt usually takes the form of a fine, a daily fine every time the agency does not comply, but it could also be a criminal contempt proceeding if the court finds that it's so egregious.
So if you are saying there that criminal charges could potentially be filed there?
It's extremely rare, especially against government officials, but if the case is so egregious and there is such a continued denial of obedience to the court's orders, then you might actually see that. But the message that this is sending to the government is that you cannot simply ignore a judiciary because it's not convenient to do so.
What about appearing in person? Virtually, obviously, always an option. But what does it say that he is being ordered to appear in person? Is that something that's common?
It is fairly common, and it speaks to the seriousness of the issue. It tells you that the judge is not satisfied with how ICE has been handling its answers in this case. And you want someone to appear personally, to take time out of their day to indicate how serious the situation is. This isn't just a written request. This is, you have to appear personally. You have to stand in front of the judge and explain yourself. And this gives the signal that the judiciary here, this court, is taking its powers very seriously in the underlying case, that it does want to have more active oversight over what ICE is doing because the department is not answering to the court.
What sort of implications, whatever happens here in court, whatever the judge does decide, what implications could that have on the immigration enforcement operations there in Minnesota and maybe elsewhere?
This will have broad application in Minnesota and potentially in other states as well. The basic issue is the procedural due process one. It's people who are detained are entitled to have an opportunity to be heard for a bond hearing. They're entitled to counsel, even if they can't, even if the government does not pay for one, because this is a civil, not a criminal proceeding for.
Yeah, it's a civil proceeding. I don't understand why they think that they actually think that they deserve due process. Are we talking about protesters here? Illegals here?
There are certain process rights that a person who is detained has. And what this judge in Minnesota is saying is that courts are taking a more active role in making sure that these rights are given, that procedure is.
If they're illegally here, yeah, the due process is different. The due process for that kind of situation, regards to immigration, you don't have any due process to be seeing a judge or anything like that. You don't have that. That's not the due process. People don't actually understand how due process fluctuates depending on what it's classified as. And immigration is not theoretically like on that criminal level where you're about to lose your rights and all that shit. No, they just send you back to your fucking country.
Followed. So what the outcome of this hearing, the outcome of this case signals across the nation that courts, especially federal courts, are looking to uphold those basic procedural due process rights that every detained person has.
What standards, and you kind of touched on this, but what standards do courts use to determine whether an agency has violated the detainee's due process rights?
At the very basic level, it's whether the person has notice of the charges against them, whether they've been given an opportunity to be heard, so whether there's been a detention hearing, a bail hearing, whether they have the ability to communicate with counsel. These are the basic things that the court looks at if procedural due process is being followed. So this is more or less a binary situation when you look whether something has happened. Has there been a bail hearing? Has this person been denied the opportunity to go before an immigration court judge in however many days it's been since they've been detained? And if the answer is no, then that's a problem. That's a violation of that person's legal rights.
What do we need to be watching for here as that hearing does take place? As of right now, it is scheduled 2 days from now on Friday. What should we be watching for to come from that?
Well, two things. First, whether this hearing even happens. The underlying individual who was
we're going to be following
issue here.
Because here's the thing: is it's ordered to appear in court Friday. We'll see if that actually kind of happens. A lot of the times, shit kind of like this kind of gets brushed aside, swept under the rug kind of thing. We'll see what happens there. Anyways, Trump sends U.S. armada, or I think how we said it. Yeah, armada, right? To Iran. So let's go ahead and bring this up. And this is our last little update regards to Iran before we get into Marco Rubio and the First Lady.
I do want to get you to some breaking news that we have been following throughout the morning. Take a look at your screen right here. As President Trump says, he is
Which we already reported this part, but I'll allow him to recapture this real quick for anybody that's newly coming into the channel right now.
Quote, massive armada to Iran. The announcement made this morning on Truth Social as tensions continue between the U.S. and Iran. Here is that full post right there on your screen. He says, a massive armada is heading to Iran. It is moving quickly with great power, enthusiasm, and purpose. It is a larger fleet headed by the great aircraft carrier Abraham Lincoln than that sent to Venezuela. Like with Venezuela, it is ready, willing, and able to rapidly fulfill its mission with speed and violence if necessary. Hopefully, Iran will quickly, quote, come to the table and negotiate a fair and equitable deal. No nuclear weapons. One that is good for all parties. Time is running out. It is truly of the essence. As I told Iran once before, make a deal. They didn't. And there was Operation Midnight Hammer, a major destruction of Iran. The next attack will be far worse. Don't make that happen again. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Now, we do have this video that we've shown you coming in out of Iran within the last few weeks or so, and we know that activists are now saying Iran's crackdown on national protests have killed more than 6,100 people and many others still feared dead. The Iranian regime does argue that number is much lower. The USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier and guided missile destroyers accompanying it provide the U.S. that ability to strike Iran, as we've heard from Gulf Arab states that have essentially made it clear they want to stay out of any attack. Right now, I do want to discuss all of this further, so let's bring in Jonathan Sayeh, an Iran analyst with the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. Thank you so much.
She was laying back there earlier. She must be under the ottoman right now.
For taking the time to be here with us today.
Hi, Josh. It's great to be with you.
And first off, I wanted to ask you about this breaking news. You did see some of the comments there that were made by President Trump on Truth Social this morning about this armada. Kind of give me your take.
Be safe out there, Sterling. Always appreciate you.
On all of that.
So comparing this scenario to Venezuela, what is a likely scenario is a situation where this fleet will be in place to block Iran's access to the oil market, illicit oil market at that, because under the maximum pressure campaign, this administration has sought to...
So it's basically just an oil barrier of entry, and that's... They're going to make sure no oil is going in or out of Iran.
Reduce Iranian oil exports to zero that is illegally getting transferred to China. That is one likely scenario, but another angle of looking at this is that this is a message to the Islamic Republic that, of course, we will advance and we will try our best to pursue diplomacy with you, but if that fails to materialize, we would have to pursue kinetic action against your whether military establishment or ballistic missile stockpiles. So it's really a message to the Islamic Republic, and the ball is in their court. It's debatable whether a regime like Tehran would actually negotiate in good faith, but nonetheless, all the options are now on the table when it comes.
Okay, well that's enough of that. We don't need to have this guy break anything else down, to be honest. We got what we needed on the information part. We're going to move on. We've got two more stories here. First Lady Melania Trump at New York Stock Exchange. Let's go ahead and see what she has to say. Why is she over there at the New York Stock Exchange? I don't know.
Thank you. Good morning.
And this was...
It's an honor
this morning, just an hour ago.
To be on Wall Street. in the New York Stock Exchange, just 2 days before the global launch of my new
What's up, brother So Loud? Good morning.
film, Melania. Thank you for having me today, Jeff, Lynn, and of course, the CEOs from America's great corporations. Superior storytelling drives culture, and in turn, moves markets. In the near future, cultural influence will matter as much as economic power. Our ability to tell our stories and emotionally connect with audiences is paramount. People long to be moved. We need stories that inspire dreams, offer hope, tales of redemption, sad stories, love stories, and funny stories. We want to feel human. My new film, Melania, provides a window into an important period for America, the 47th presidential inauguration. For the first time in history, people will witness the 20 days leading up to the inauguration through the eyes of an incoming First Lady. Visual storytelling and beautiful music create memories for a lifetime. What do you remember when you hear Rolling Stones, Michael Jackson? Films bring families and friends together, sitting side by side, sharing a collective moment. In doing so, they will not simply watch my film. They will participate in a great American tradition and become part of our nation's history. Thank you for joining me on this historic morning, and enjoy the film. Thank you.
Madam First Lady, we have a variety of traditions at the New York Stock Exchange. The first tradition that we have is every morning we strike a medallion for our bell ringers. It is my honor to present you with this morning's medallion. On the front of the medallion are our 6 pillars, which stand for a variety of things, but importantly, they stand for access to free markets around the globe and the concept of freedom, which I know you fight for every single day. And on the back is the buttonwood tree. As Jeff mentioned, we were founded under a buttonwood tree on the corner of Wall and Broad. It reminds us of our commitment to fair and transparent markets. It's my honor to present you with this.
Thank you, beautiful. Thank
All right, that's cool. Very nice. We gave her spotlight, and that was nice and consolidated. All right, we're going to go into Marco Rubio, interrupted by protester during opening remarks on Venezuela. And this is in regards to this morning, actually.
And I'll be brief in my opening statement so we can leave more time for questions. I've submitted a written statement, but I'm not going to use it. I'm just going to talk to you guys for a few minutes. And
all right, here we go. Suspend. You know the drill. Off to jail.
That's a war crime.
That's a 1-year ban from the committee.
1-year ban from the committee.
Anyone who is a persistent violator will be banned for 3 years. So
a persistent violator? I mean, come on, man. If they're a persistent violator, they should just be fucking... It's just... Fuck. Don't bring that guy back in this motherfucker.
I don't know whether the guy falls in that category. Looks like it. I hope after 3 years...
It looks like it.
More productive means of employment. Secretary Rubio, we have 2...
Damn.
Oh, shit! Hearings a week, you know... you seem to have a more robust following than most of our witnesses that come before us. But anyway,
there'll be a couple more. So thank you for stopping the clock. But I appreciate it. So, and I know there's a lot of other topics you're going to ask me about, so we can talk about those, including the ones that Senator Shaheen just outlined. But let me just talk about Venezuela in particular.
Please.
I think we can talk, if you want. I'm sure your questions will be about what happened before and led up to in the operation. I want to focus my comments this morning on what happens now and moving forward, because you're going to ask about the going back. And let me just say this. What is our goal going in? We had in our hemisphere a regime operated by an indicted narco trafficker that became a base of operation for virtually every competitor, adversary, and enemy in the world. It was, for Iran, their primary spot of operation in the Western Hemisphere was Venezuela. For Russia, their primary base of operation in the Western Hemisphere, along Cuba and Nicaragua, was Venezuela. In the case of China, China was receiving oil at a huge, about $20 a barrel discount. And they weren't even paying money for it. It was being used to pay down debt that they were owed. This is the oil of the people of Venezuela, and it was being given to the Chinese as barter at a 20%, at a $20 discount per barrel in some cases. And so you had basically three of our primary opponents in the world operating from our hemisphere from that spot. It was also a place where you had a narco-trafficking regime that openly cooperated with the FARC and the ELN and other drug trafficking organizations using their national territory. It was an enormous strategic risk for the United States, not halfway around the world, not in another continent, but in the hemisphere in which we all live. And it was having dramatic impacts on us, but also on Colombia and on the Caribbean basin and all sorts of other places. It was an untenable situation, and it had to be addressed. And it was addressed. And now the question becomes what happens moving forward. As I've described to you in previous settings and in individual conversations, we had three objectives here. The final, I'll work it backwards, because the end state here is we want to reach a phase of transition where we are left with a friendly, stable, prosperous Venezuela, and democratic, in which all elements of society are represented, and free and fair elections. By the way, you can have elections. You can have elections all day. But if the opposition has no access to the media, if opposition candidates are routinely dismissed and unable to be on the ballot because the government, those aren't free and fair elections. That's the end state that we want: free, fair, prosperous, and friendly Venezuela. We're not going to get there in 3 weeks. It's going to take some time. And so objective number one was stability. In the aftermath of the removal of Maduro, the concern was what happens in Venezuela. Is there civil war? Do the different factions start going at each other? Are 1 million people crossing the border into Colombia? All of that has been avoided. And one of the primary ways that it has been avoided is the ability to establish direct, honest, respectful, but very direct and honest conversations with the people who today control the elements of that nation. Meaning the law enforcement, the government apparatus, et cetera. And one of the tools that's available to us is the fact that we have sanctions on oil. There is oil that is sanctioned that cannot move from Venezuela because of our quarantine. And so what we did is we entered into an arrangement with them. And the arrangement is this: on the oil that is sanctioned and quarantined, we will allow you to move it to market. We will allow you to move it to market at market prices, not at the discount China was getting. In return, the funds from that will be deposited into an account that we will have oversight over. And you will spend that money for the benefit of the Venezuelan people. Why was that important? Venezuela was running out of storage capacity. Okay? They were producing oil, they were drilling oil, they had nowhere to put it. They had nowhere to move it, and they were facing a fiscal crunch. They needed money in the immediacy to fund the police officer, the sanitation workers, the daily operations.
I'm just interrupting real quick because there's only 3 more minutes in this, and that's, we're not gonna. It's not like super long or anything. So, granted, he's gonna be speaking for all day. I figured we can give him 7 minutes.
Government. And so we've been able to create a short-term mechanism. This is not going to be...
we only have like 3 more minutes left.
...the permanent mechanism. But this is a short-term mechanism in which the needs of the Venezuelan people can be met through a process that we've created where they will submit every month a budget of this is what we need funded. We will provide for them at the front end what that money cannot be used for. And they've been very cooperative in this regard. In fact, they have pledged to use a substantial amount of those funds to purchase medicine and equipment directly from the United States. As in fact, one of the things they need is dilutin, depending how you want to pronounce it. And that basically is the light crude that you need to mix with their heavy crude in order for the oil to be able to be mixed and moved. They used to get 100% of that from Russia. They are now getting 100% of that from the United States. So we're using that short-term mechanism both to...
And then I'm going to smoke 2 more, Jimmy.
...stabilize the country, but also to make sure that the oil proceeds that are currently being generated through the licenses we'll now begin to issue on the sanctioned oil goes to the benefit of the Venezuelan people, not to fund the system that existed in the past. The second is...
What's up, Randy? I don't know why
the phase in which you want to see a normalized oil industry. Again, look, we've got plenty of oil. There's plenty of oil all over the world. Canada produces heavy crude, so it's not like Venezuela's oil is unique in that regard, despite the fact they have the largest known reserves in the world. It's not irreplaceable. But we understand that that is the lifeline. Their natural resources are going to allow Venezuela to be stable and prosperous moving forward. And so we've created what we hope to do is transition to a mechanism that allows that to be sold in a normal way, a normal oil industry, not one dominated by cronies, not one dominated by graft and corruption. To that end, the authorities there deserve some credit. They have passed a new hydrocarbon law that basically eradicates many of the Chavez-era restrictions on private investment in the oil industry. It probably doesn't go far enough to attract sufficient investment, but it's a big step from where they were 3 weeks ago. So that's a major change. We can address some of the other components, but I'll run out of time. But one of the parts of the transition phase, or the recovery phase, is beginning to create space.
Chairman looks bored as fuck, like he's about to fall asleep. Shit.
Oh, shit! Oh, shit! For different voices inside of Venezuelan politics to have an ability to speak out. Part of that is the release of political prisoners. By some estimates, up to 2,000. They are releasing them. They are releasing them probably slower than I would like them to, but they are releasing them.
Yes, Steve Easy. Ding, ding, ding. 100,000% correct, by the way.
And in fact, you're starting to see some of the people being released beginning to speak out and participate in political life in the country. We have a long ways to go. Look, we can talk in more detail about all of these things. Suffice it to say, I'm not here to claim to you this is going to be easy or simple. I am saying that in 3.5, almost 4 weeks, we are much further along on this project than we thought we would be, given the complexities of it going into it. And I recognize that it won't be easy. I mean, look, at the end of the day, we are dealing with people over there that have spent most of their lives living in a gangster paradise. So it's not going to be like from one day to the next.
Shit.
We're going to have this thing turn around overnight. But I think we're making good and decent progress. It is the best plan, and we are certainly better off today in Venezuela than we were 4 weeks ago. And I think and hope and expect that we'll be better off in 3 months, and 6 months, and 9 months than we would have been had Maduro still been there. So
damn. All right. That is the official opening statement by Marco. And now, of course, this is probably going to go on all day. That's usually how these things go. Anyways, we're going to be rating our buddy Ron's basement, by the way. He speaks on gold and silver, more in particular silver. And he's live right now. So make sure you guys do me a big favor and let him know we're coming through with the Mike Ball raid. And I'm just a fan of dude, actually. You know, I like his content and his knowledge on silver. So make sure you guys go over there as well. And I can't thank each and every single one of you guys enough for allowing me to do this Monday through Friday, as well as Saturday morning for members only. Tonight, we're going to be back at like 7:15 p.m. for Central Standard Time. And we're going to be back for Diamond Effect this evening. It's going to be a great time. We're going to be discussing the government, of course. And make sure you guys tune in for that. If I don't see you guys tonight, I'll see you guys tomorrow morning for more of the world's madness. Until then, God bless everyone, and be safe, and stay warm. Much love and respect to everybody. See you guys.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burning in his soul, with a heart steel and a spirit unbroken. He rides on 2 wheels, ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow, he takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry.